Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be you have to see it for yourself. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. And so no, this background isn't the Planet of the Apes. No, it's not Costa Rica. This is the Carolinas, and the greens behind me are lush and full of energy, as am I, and my hope is you are too. Going to the narcissistic relationship, people can claim that they were in it, they can talk about it, and they can say, oh, it's not such a big deal, just get over it, get out there, start dating, or move on. What's the problem? It's been 3 months, it's been a year, it's been two or 3 years. Well, not so fast, people. If you've been in the cycle, if you've been in the trauma bond, if your whole world was spun upside down, if you were being gaslit and stonewalled and triangulated and financially abused and verbally abused and having things thrown at you and been screamed at in your right ear when you were driving on the freeway at 100 miles an hour for no reason. If you experience these things and so many more, then you understand this is the relationship you will need to heal from. And few people will understand it. Few people will be able to wrap their head around the fact why it's taking you so long to heal and why it's taking you so long to come out of that cocoon of boundaries. Your average human being, again, they are not the narcissist and they're not the true empath. They're somewhere in between. And yes, again, if people think that empaths don't exist, you're looking at one. If you don't think I'm one, you really need to take a good look in the mirror. You could be the narcissist. Having said that, the narcissist looks for empaths. They look for vulnerable people. They look for people who don't know that narcissism exists. They want to prey upon people's vulnerabilities. They also want to prey upon people's strengths. And once they get the target in a relationship with them, meaning you told them you loved them, you married them, you relocated, you went into business, you moved, whatever you did. Once you did that, or you gave them money, or loaned them money, I should say, now they knew they had you. And this is when they could begin to pull back and blame you and change what they said and gaslight you and tell you that they don't remember saying anything, i.e. selective memory and everything in between. But back then you didn't know what you know now. You didn't have the wisdom. You didn't realize that a person could be a predator. You knew that predators existed, example, in the jungle, or in the rainforest, or in the wilderness or the woods. Well, a predator has to get its prey to eat. That's what it does. A narcissist is just that, a predator, but they don't eat people. What they do is they devour their emotions. They steal their mindset. They take their time. They take their relationships and their dreams and hopes and aspirations and everything in between, and they leave those people a shell of themselves once they take whatever they want. They usually crumble those people up like a sheet of paper, throw them away on the freeway, i.e. discard them, and go on to a new source of supply. Wash, rinse, repeat, or rinse, wash, repeat, whatever that expression is. But back then you didn't know that, and your average human being doesn't know that. My hope is that your average human being never enters a narcissistic relationship full throttle. But then again, one never knows where the narcissist is. They could be lurking around the corner. They could be your direct boss that you just got a new job from. They could be the neighbor that just moved in next door to you. They could be your teacher. They could be the person who you are assigned a work project with this semester. They could be the family you're staying with when you're moving abroad for a couple months and learning a different language. They could be anywhere. And now you're realizing this and recognizing that it's something that the average human being won't be able to understand. So you have to see it to believe it. What that means is when you were in the cycle, so many strange, peculiar things happened to you. So many random things you thought were taking place in your life that you ignored, and you didn't look into them because you weren't trusting your instincts, you weren't trusting your intuition, and you were not paying attention to red flags because you were too caught up on that hamster wheel of abuse, on that roller coaster of emotions, because you were being loyal to the narcissist, you were being subservient to them, and if you didn't do what they wanted you to do, they would punish you. If you did do what they wanted you to do, they would still give you another long list, to-do list to do tomorrow. That's why anybody, and I mean anybody, is expendable or replaceable in the narcissist's mind. They look at people as opportunities. They look at people as vulnerable. They look at people as weak. They look at people as pawns and puppets and people who they could use, abuse, manipulate, and discard. The narcissist doesn't care about anybody but themselves, and that includes their own children, their stepchildren, their spouses, their ex-spouses, their former friendships, their parents, their siblings, their colleagues, coworkers, and everybody in between. Now, having said that, you have to see it to believe it. What that means is if you were given an opportunity, again, to figure out what narcissism was, you could have this wisdom by, let's say, drinking an ounce of some liquid, and you could get the wisdom without going through the cycle. Would you do it? I will tell you right now, if there was no harm, no foul, and you didn't have to heal from anything, but you acquired the wisdom, and you did not have to take 5,000 video hours of watching, and you didn't have to read books, and you didn't have to see a therapist and all those things, but you could just drink one shot of liquid, and yes, I haven't lost my mind, and you would have the wisdom, but it would not hurt you, it wouldn't harm you, but now you would have the boundaries, you would now know the signs to identify, and you could have your shields up. Would you do it? I would do it in a second, but I didn't do it. I had to go through the cycle because I wasn't taught this in school, just like you did. And that day of drinking a liquid and figuring it out, it could be around the corner with AI and everything. Who knows? Point being is that liquid doesn't exist right now. Now flip it. Same liquid it's given to you. You have 1 ounce of this liquid, whatever it is, and you can drink it and you can consume it and you'd have the wisdom. Would you decline it? Knowing what you know now, there's no way you would decline that. You may say, well, wait a minute, I want to keep my rose-tinted glasses on and I would rather not know what's going on and I'd rather not have the experiences. Well, we're taking the experiences out of this part of the video. All we're saying is acquiring the wisdom with drinking 1 ounce of a liquid. Well, truth is, if you turn that down, then that would mean you wouldn't know what you know. You wouldn't have the wisdom, and you would be susceptible to falling into a narcissistic relationship, and most likely you would. That's why my take is I would consume that to get the wisdom without any harm or foul being done to me, no damage being done to me. But again, that's not reality. That is kind of like from that movie, The Matrix. You take the blue pill and this happens, you take the red pill and that happens. Well, think about what happens in that movie. One person, and you know who it is. If you don't, maybe you want to check it out. It's up to you. Well, one person gets wisdom without going through something. Having said that, that pill does not exist on this planet in present day. That's why you have to heal. That's why you have to journal. You have to meditate. That's why you had to go through this relationship. There was no other way. That's why so few people will be able to understand how much damage it did to you, why you have to put yourself back together, how come you see things differently, and how come you've changed, how come you're not the same person. The reason you're not the same person is because I've shared over the years, and I'll share it again, you are either in or you're entering the third version of you, the strongest, most galvanized version of you known to humankind. The first version of you was the person you were before you met the narcissist, the rose-tinted glasses person most likely. The second version of you was the version that was in that spin cycle of abuse when you're in that relationship firsthand. That's when your life was being put on hold. That's when your growth was being stunted. That's when you were being abused. You were being looked upon as the unpaid helper, the walking apology, the servant, the sounding board, and so many other hats you were wearing, but none of those hats benefited you. They all benefited the toxic, narcissistic individual. And then the third version of you is the version of you post-relationship once you've healed. That is what I was referring to early in the video. If you could get the wisdom legitimately without having gone through the cycle and you're never hurt or you were never harmed, I would do it in a second. Because why? Because knowledge is power. Experience and knowledge equal wisdom. So if you could have that in a second and know what to look for, know how to defend these people and keep them away from you, that would be saving you an awful lot of time in your life. But again, that doesn't exist currently. And maybe it will in the future, maybe it won't. I can't tell you. What I can tell you is I hope that narcissism is eradicated on this planet sooner than later. Not the people themselves. I'm talking about the behaviors, the mannerisms, the abusive techniques. I wish it would be eradicated. Maybe it will be sooner than I hope for, or sooner than I think. I really hope it is. But having said that, you have to see it to believe it. Now, going back to those two examples I shared with you, so many people you'll be talking to post-relationship, and this is when you are healing or after you've healed, and you will be beginning to tell them one or two things about, like, let's say gaslighting. And they will say, yeah, I know what that is. I heard it. It was the word of the year a couple of years ago. I know exactly what that is. Everyone uses it. What's the big deal? You don't know what you're talking about. Well, not so fast. You see, you are one of the people that made that the word of the year 3 years ago because you lived it and you brought it to the forefront. Just like with each and every video I created for almost 5 years, I've brought narcissistic awareness to the forefront, as have so many other people. And for the people that are continuing to do so and doing it because they've been through the cycle or they want to pay it forward, in other words, they're doing it for the right reasons, I applaud you. Having said those things, the collective conscious is getting more and more awakened and aware, educated and empowered. So now, fast forward to today. Let's say that you're having a cup of coffee with somebody. Let's say you've healed. You're in a great spot. You don't think about the narcissist. You don't ruminate. You've journaled. You've meditated. You've done everything you can, and you're in a great spot. You're at that mountaintop, that pinnacle of indifference. Let's say the person you're having the coffee with, and they are talking to you about their relationship, and they're saying, you know, this person, they keep on coming home. They keep on telling me to cook, to clean. How come the house isn't taken care of? why the dogs aren't fed. They're talking about themselves for 5 hours straight. They're not asking me how I am. They're not saying goodnight. They expect me to do their laundry. They expect me to make breakfast. They expect me to be available when they call me or contact me. But if I ask them one thing about, if I want to ask their opinion about something or want to talk to them about something about me, they say, well, we'll talk about it some other time, or do whatever you want, or I understand. They don't give me the time of day. Now, when that person's talking to you, now you have wisdom. You can now guide them or share some experiences if you so choose to do so or not. But see, now you can see the signs. You know what to look for, and you know these behaviors because you lived it. That person that you're grabbing a cup of coffee with, they don't have the knowledge you have. They don't have the wisdom. And that person, truth be told, they're trapped in a cycle. How toxic the cycle is, I can't tell you. I'd have to talk to them. But the point being is they are once where you were and once where I was, which is where I no longer am. And my hope is that's where you no longer are, which means you have to see it to believe it. You have to see it to believe it. Understand what I'm sharing. You have to go through it to see it. The same expression, which means people can talk to you till they are blue in the face. People can tell you what you're going through, but until you are ready to accept it, you're not going to listen to what they say. The old expression is when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I'll say it again. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Now, I am both a student and a teacher. I teach an awful lot these days, but I'm still a student because I learn as much as I teach every single day to pay it forward to help you out so you can get your cup full and you can pay it forward wherever you live to the people that you love and trust and care about. That's why this ripple effect is having more and more strength as the pebbles that are rippling through the water of existence are going through. Not the best English, but as we are healing and we're getting stronger and stronger, there's a ripple effect and it's taking place more and more. That's why we are paying it forward. That's why I create video each and every day. And that's why I had to go through the cycle. I didn't want to go through it. I wish I never had, but I did, and I can't change the past. What I can do is, which is what I do every single day, is live in the present moment. I take the lifelong learning lessons from the past, not only from the narcissistic relationship, but from all of my life experiences. And I go through many of these on my walking meditations and in the early mornings and in the evenings, and I think about how grateful I am and how fortunate I am, not only to have been out of the cycle, and I wish I were never in it, but I was in it, but actually to have all the experiences I've had on the planet, all the different countries I've lived in the States, and all my experiences. And I'm grateful to have those. I'm grateful to be here right now. That's why I live in the present moment. That's why I take the lifelong learning lessons from the past. I do not predict the future. None of us can. And I live in the present moment. And that's what you will do once you've healed. But again, remember this. If you were told when you were in the narcissistic relationship that, hey, that person's abusing you, they're doing A, B, and C, and X, Y, and Z, would you have listened to them? Probably not. Why? Because you were probably in the trauma bond and you were loyal to the person who was abusing you. Again, i.e. Stockholm syndrome, whatever you want to call it. But this is where you were, because you were trying your best to fix an unfixable relationship, but you didn't know what you know now. So now flip it. Now you're healed and you're in a great spot. And now you're telling somebody else, hey, I think you're in a challenging relationship. You may want to watch these videos, or you may want to read this book, or you may want to, look into this. You can tell them whatever you want to tell them. Maybe they will understand that immediately. Probably not. But maybe, just maybe down the road in a week, a month, 2, 3, maybe a year, they will remember that conversation you had with them. And they will come back to you and say, wait, I remember last year you told me something about narcissism. Like, what was that again? I didn't really understand it. Well, now they've had a whole year of abuse to go through, unfortunately. And now they are ready to understand what you're talking about. Then you can turn them on to whatever you're going to turn them on to. And then, boom, they go down the rabbit holes of education and exploration, as I did and as you did. Again, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Not everybody gets the teacher. Not everybody is a student. Truth be told, most people are stuck in the trauma bond. Most people are stuck in the cycle. Most people never figure it out, and fewer figure it out and heal properly. But you figured it out. You are a diamond in the rough. You found the needle in a haystack, and you are healing. That's why you are a fortunate person. You should be grateful, not that you were through the relationship or you were in it, but that you're out of it and you're healing and you've gone no contact and blocked that person, etc. This is the path. The path is to understand. You can talk to your blue in the face to anybody you want to about whatever you want to talk to them about, but specifically about toxicity or abuse or narcissism. If they're not ready to receive it, they're not going to get it. They're not going to understand it. They will have to have their own journey and go through it the way you went through it And they're going to have to figure it out on their own, despite the fact that you may be trying to tell them, please look into this, please watch these videos, please do what I'm telling you. I was where you are. You don't understand how serious this is. This is life-threatening. You need to get out of this. You can do whatever you want to. If they're ready, then that's a great thing. If they're not, and most likely they won't be, they're going to think that you're trying to separate them from their abuser. And that's how the cycle continues to go around and around and around in a loop. And you, again, before I close the video, you should be grateful you're out of it and you've healed or you are healing, as am I. That's why each and every day I continue to be a student and I continue to teach and to pay it forward each and every day during my one-on-one sessions with people by creating videos and by lifting people's spirits and giving them belief in themselves. Because at one point, you didn't have belief. I've always believed in you. At one point, truth be told, January 6, 2021, I lost all belief in everything. And that day was a very challenging day for me, but I made it. I am out. I've healed. I experienced the dark night of the soul and some other things if you read between the lines, but I made it and I'm here. And I am a totally different person than I was yesterday, then a year ago, then 5 years ago, and then 10 years ago, and so on, so on. I have arrived at the mountaintop, the pinnacle of indifference. My hope is you are there or you will be there. But understand, everybody, and I mean everybody, will have to go through it to be able to understand it. People can claim they know what you're talking about. People can claim that, oh yeah, that's a bad person, you should not talk to them, or they're not that bad, or just get out and start dating. Well, they don't get it. That's why I can finish your sentence in a second. And if you've been through the cycle and healed properly, you could do the same thing with me. Again, I wish I didn't have to be able to have the ability to finish your sentence, but I do. And if you've healed, you can finish mine. But again, we didn't ask for this experience. We didn't ask for this wisdom. There was no liquid we could consume to give us the wisdom. No such thing. That's why we had to go through the cycle. And that's why we had to beat something that we didn't even know we were up against. And we did it. And now we've healed. And now we've gone no contact, etc. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon or evening or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. I love y'all. God bless you. I love y'all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And you have to go through it to see it, or you have to go through it to believe it. However the thumbnail says, because there's so many different ideas going through my mind. You could not fathom what you had experienced when you were not only in it, but when you were out of it. It's surreal. It pales in comparison to any movie that you would watch. That's part one. Part two is, this is real. It's your life. You went through it. You lived it. You made it out on the other side, as did I. So now you can't be thinking to yourself anything other than, this wasn't your fault. You were targeted. The person did know what they were doing, and they tried to take you down for the count, but they failed. They couldn't accomplish it as they had accomplished it with so many other people. That's why you need to understand that you are stronger than you know. You are on the path. And you did go through it. You know what you're talking about. You lived it, and you're out. And now you're either at or arriving at that mountaintop of indifference. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye. And this background is absolutely incredible. It's so lush, so green, so full of everything. I love it, and here comes the wind. I love you all. God bless you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.